Hey guys, Nishant here, and today I'm starting this series called Automotive Stories. And on today's episode, we're gonna cover Ferrari in rallying. Now, why would Ferrari enter rallying? Ferrari is a brand known for their passion, their flamboyance and extravagance, but why take part in this gritty and grimy sport which needs endurance and reliable engineering? Well, the 70s and 80s were the heyday of rallying, and at this point, rallying almost reached the level of popularity as F1, which was a great deal for sponsors and making money. So Ferrari put the 308 GTB Gran Turismo Berlinetta into Group 4 for rallying, which made around 280 horsepower and replaced the Dino. This car was fine for Group B, but then Ferrari had their eye on Group B, which was the peak of rallying, and well, it lasted a short period, but back then it was a huge deal. So they entered this car on your screen right now, which had 310 horsepower and steel panels. So it was quite heavy and slow, so they discontinued it, and then they replaced it with the 288 GTO on the screen now. The 288 GTO stands for Gran Turismo Omologato. Omologato stands for homologation, and they intended to put this car in Group B. This thing had a V8 with a 2.9 liter V8 twin turbos, and it was fantastic. And then they were not satisfied with that either, and then they decided to make themselves the 288 GTO Evoluzione. The car which many of you may not have heard of, and if you see it you might think it's a horribly kitted MR2 replica or some fancy Ferrari which was, well, aftermarket. But no, it's a homologation special. Only 6 of them were made, and each of them came with a 2.9 liter V8 from the 288 GTO but reworked heavily, and they made minimum of 650 horsepower at 7800 RPM. They could go all the way up to like thousands of horsepower, and these cars were extremely light. They were like 940 kilograms, which was, well, quite scary to be honest, and they did not have any grip whatsoever. They were rear wheel drive, unlike some other Group B cars which are all wheel drive. And the car you see right now, it's like a gameplay I recorded in Assetto Corsa. This is the 288 GTO Evoluzione. So Ferrari had their eye on Group B. The Group B was the rallying discipline that was created by FIA to be the most balls out, no rules applied, and no holds barred rallying series. And they had literally no restraint on engine power. Well, they had some, but not too much, as cars were seen making around 800, 1000 horsepower. So why was this series so less known and discontinued? Well, it was dangerous, as you already know. This much power in a car this light and on tracks such as this with cliffs and trees and many other things you can crash into, even spectators for instance. Well, the Group B discipline lasted from 1982 to 1986, a brief span of 4 years. And in these 4 years, the development in automobiles were insane. All-wheel drive became more mainstream. Huge power started being made reliably. Turbocharging was now a huge technology which was easily exploited even on road cars. Well, Group B ended purely because of the number of spectator deaths, especially the one of Henry Toivonen, which I covered in a previous video. When Henry Toivonen died, FIA decided enough is enough, we're gonna stop this, we're not gonna let more people get injured, so we're gonna end Group B. So back to Ferrari and rallying. As I said, the 308 GTB, or the Gran Turismo Berlinetta. Berlinetta stands for Sports Coupe in Italian. It was a successor of the Dino, and Ferrari was like 70s and 80s. They're like, rallying is at peak. Hey guys, what should we do now? They're like, let's go rallying. We can get huge publicity, almost as much as F1, and make more money. So the 308 GTB initially came with a V8 engine. It also came in some V6 and some poverty spec turbo 4 forms. Well, that car was never really great because it never had enough power, and it was quite heavy because it was made of steel, and well, 280 or 300 horsepower is not enough for competing in huge rally disciplines like Group B. It was fine in Group 4, but never really great. The Lancia Stratos, the Lancia 037, these were much more dominant because of how flimsy they were. They were extremely light, and with same or more power, they were extremely competitive. So Ferrari was like, we gotta scrap this plan and we gotta work on something more powerful. Then came the 288 GTO. 288 GTO was, well, the successor of the 308 GTB in a very light sense, because, well, the two cars never really had anything in common other than just the series that they came in. The 288 GTO was much lighter, much stiffer, much more hardcore, made much more power, and it was made for Group B. Ferrari wanted to dominate Group B in something. All-wheel drive was taking over, and they were still stuck with MR cars. Then they decided to make the Evoluzione, which is the 288 GTO Evo, which was an extremely quick car. but it never really raced in Group B because Group B got outlawed before it could become mainstream. So, what happened to these cars? Only 6 were ever made, and all 6 are still known to be in existence. One of them is owned by Ferrari, and they're being driven extremely hard on hill climbs, Nürburgring, many more. And so, these cars were not totally useless because they led to the F40, which is known as the holy grail of Ferrari supercars. And the F40 came from this because this taught Ferrari how to use twin turbocharging with a huge V8. The F40 had a similar engine to this car, and chassis and everything were inspired by this car. So the 288 GTO Evoluzione is a car that's not known by many people, but it's a fantastic car which you guys should know about. And that's the purpose of this series, to cover cars many of you have never heard of or which carry huge historical significance. Let me know if you like this series.